Let's talk about X-Men, y'all. X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Rise of Apocalypse. But the one I want to talk about is X-Men Dark Phoenix. I wanted to see how Jean Grey was portrayed because I hadn't seen that movie in a while, so I decided to watch it today. And I'm glad I did. And I also watched some reactions from people back in about 7 years ago when the movie came out. And, you know, that movie took a beating. People were dogging that film from the door. And I think it started with the Rise of Apocalypse because I think that's when that particular franchise started to take after Days of Future Past, because that was a favorite. It seems like the second movies out of these daggone franchises have been the best. They've been the best ones. The first one's been good. It's always been an introduction. You learn, you learn about the different members, and then we move on to the second one, when the original one from 2000 came out, then the second one came out, X2. Woo, that was a good one. That was a good one. It's probably, I want to say that's the best, but then I don't want to take that away from Days of Future Past. Because Days of Future Past was also a banger. So those stand neck and neck. I got to really watch both of those again and see how I would rate those. But in the second franchise, I'm going to say Rise of Apocalypse really made that franchise take a downward turn because I don't think people took too well to Apocalypse. But in Dark Phoenix, they had already had an unsuccessful run in the first franchise in X3. It wasn't called X3, but I don't remember exactly what it was called after X2. But the Jean Grey Dark Phoenix, it didn't go over well. I enjoyed it. I loved that movie. Matter of fact, that's probably one of my favorites. That definitely is almost up there with X2 and Days of Future Past, because they introduced more characters. Kelsey Grammer came in as the Beast. Woo! That alone was good enough for me. But anyway, but the Dark Phoenix in the second franchise took a beating. People were ragging on that thing from, I guess you could say, starting from the daggone trailers. But I found that with these movies, people will rag on them, some of them from the door, and then after they watch something a few years later, they come back and say, it wasn't so bad after all. I actually enjoyed it. But I liked it. It's the first time that I ever watched it all the way through, so that tells you kind of how I felt about it. Kind of always just kind of fell off after the second act. And this time I actually watched it through till she got to, she took off after she got the Phoenix in her, and she took off to hang out with Magneto. And then from there, things got interesting again. So I kind of stuck it out, and it wasn't so bad. I got to the end. The second half of the movie is not bad. The first half is kind of where I'm just like, ugh. The build-up, but the second half is not so bad. I give the thing a 6.5, maybe even a 7. Probably a 6.5, though, because I had to sludge through the second quarter of it. But it wasn't so bad. I mean, the Jean as the Phoenix Force did things that were unforgivable, but I guess I say it all that to say that what is the new Jean Grey, played by Sadie Sink, if they ever do the Phoenix Force with her, what's she gonna do? Because, man, she's a wild child. But anyway, that's kind of like my little short review on, the Dark Phoenix from the second franchise. I give it a 6.5. What do you give it? If you watched it, do you even remember it? Did you like it or not? What's your thoughts on it? Till next time, y'all, make mine Marvel.